Hello everyone, Todd Hagans along with Valerie Yatko, and we are at the Gaston County Museum in Dallas, and we are giving you an up-close look at our exhibit titled Gaston County Schools, Sports History, and More. Valerie, let's go inside and take a look around.
Let's go.
We are inside the historic train depot here in Dallas. The train depot is part of the Gaston County Museum, and inside we have our sports history exhibit. For the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools, we have taken a look back at our sports history over the past 50 years and highlighting our sports history. And this wonderful facility has been the home of this exhibit for the past 3 months. And it all begins right here as we look at our sports history in Gaston County. And I'd like to take a moment just to read this to you so you get a feel of what we're trying to capture with our exhibit. It says, the yell of touchdown at Lineberger Stadium, the dribble of a basketball on the Sylvia Ryan Hatchell Court, the clink of a bat at Fraley Field. Athletics in Gaston County is a source of community pride, and over the years, our high school and junior high middle school teams and players have given us plenty of reasons to celebrate. As part of the Big 50 anniversary for Gaston County Schools, we are proud to present this exhibit, Gaston County Schools, Our Sports History, and More. The items on display only highlight our sports history. To bring attention to every championship player and team, we would need a space 10 times the size we have right here. The jerseys, trophies, pictures, and other memorabilia on display are a testament of how outstanding our athletes really are. Because of them, we have cheered. We have hoisted the championship trophy high for everyone to see, and we have plenty of remember when stories for reminiscing and keeping our rich sports history alive. So to each student athlete who has been a part of Gaston County Schools teams over the past 50 years, this exhibit is dedicated to you. And Valerie, we're going to take a look at the different parts of our exhibit today, and we begin right here with one of the uniforms that we have on loan from Cherryville High School. You know, Valerie, Cherryville is a baseball town, and so we begin our look at our exhibit with one of the exhibit's uniforms worn by a Cherryville High School Ironman baseball player. Valerie, the first look at our museum, I guess you could say our first stop on our tour of our museum display, is this table here. And what is most notable here is the replica jersey of Eric Sleepy Floyd, who very well could be the best basketball player to come out of Hunter Huss High School.
I agree, Todd, number 42. And I think even that name today is a name that's recognized in Gaston County Schools sports history.
And you can see other memorabilia that is here on the table. Of course, Sleepy Floyd went on to play professionally in basketball, but you see a number of the other items here. The trophy here, the plaque here that recognizes Coach Ron Bray. We have here, this is a great piece, Valerie. It shows the 1976-1977 basketball team from Hunter Huss High School. And here's what's interesting about that, Valerie. One of the very few times it has ever happened, you had two teams from the same city playing for the state basketball championship, and that was in 1976-77, and the final score of that state championship game, 60 for Hunter Huss, 59 for Ashbrook High School. So a big victory there.
And continues to be a rivalry.
Yes. To this day, still a very strong rivalry between Hunter Huss and Ashbrook. And you see we have a number of trophies here on the table from Ashbrook High School, also some items from Bessemer City High School and from Forest View High School, Valerie, with the state championship, women's basketball championship, the 3A championship for the 2009-2010 school year. And we've got some other things. There's a trophy from Bessemer City High School from 1969-1970 school year, along with the North Gaston High School trophy there. The 1977 Association champions when North Gaston defeated North Stanley for that championship. So a great look at some of our championship items here, and of course we've got one of the jerseys on display here from the Highland School of Technology Rams, one of also one of our great high school teams here. So a lot of sports history here on this table, Valerie.
Absolutely, and very colorful too, Todd.
That's right. And now, Valerie, we have some items here on the wall that give a shout out, I guess you could say, to South Pointe High School. You can see the old newspaper front when the Red Raiders won the state football championship, and the date on that newspaper, Saturday, December the 8th, 1979. So you can see what it looked like in the Gastonia Gazette when the Red Raiders won that state championship. And you also can see here, this, Valerie, is the baseball team with the 3A championship in 1981. A congratulatory page that's been framed from South Pointe. Also here you've got the South Pointe High School 3A State Golf Championship in 1995. Tanner Smith was the championship golfer from South Pointe High School in 1995. And then over here we have a back-to-back state diving champion from South Pointe High School, Mary Ellen Turgonski, the 3A State Diving Championship in 2013 and 2014. And down here we've got a picture that is representative of the South Pointe Red Raiders football championship just a few years ago.
Recent championship and strong athletic tradition.
That's right.
South Pointe High School.
Yes. And Valerie, as we continue our look at our sports history exhibit here at the Gaston County Museum in Dallas, we want to direct attention to the jerseys hanging here on the wall. And you will notice some very familiar, I guess you could say famous names associated with these jerseys. And we begin over here with the Greer Junior High School jersey for James Worthy. And as you move along the wall, you see a picture of James Worthy wearing his number 52 Ashbrook jersey from Ashbrook High School. And people associate two of the greatest basketball stars to come out of Gaston County. You think of Eric Sleepy Floyd from Hunter Huss, and you think of James Worthy from Ashbrook High School.
They have been names, almost household names in the county, and even now you can say those names and people will remember, and what excitement they brought to athletics during that time period.
You know, and another name that comes from Ashbrook High School is Darrell Armstrong, and his jersey number 50 right there. Darrell Armstrong played for Ashbrook in the mid-1980s, and he went on to play at Fayetteville State, and then of course professionally for the Orlando Magic. So you've got, not only do you have Eric Sleepy Floyd and James Worthy, Darrell Armstrong, an outstanding athlete that came out of Ashbrook High School for basketball. And then as you move down the wall, you see here, this is the high school baseball jersey worn by Kevin Millwood. And everyone, yes, especially in Bessemer City, Kevin Millwood played for the Bessemer City Yellow Jackets and in the early 1990s, and then he went on to play professionally for the Atlanta Braves and a number of other teams, Major League Baseball teams. And then you will notice right beside the Kevin Millwood jersey, we have the Atlanta Braves jersey. That was, of course, worn by Wes Helms, who played professionally baseball for the Atlanta Braves and played for Ashbrook also in the early 1990s, product of Ashbrook High School. So if you have to say two of our baseball greats that have come through Gaston County Schools, of course, Kevin Millwood and Wes Helms.
And to see a professional jersey, which these I know will, after the exhibit, will return back to their schools to be proudly displayed.
That's right.
We certainly appreciate the schools loaning these things to us so we could put this display together.
Yes, very valuable, and our basketball and, of course, our baseball jerseys, they are a very important part of our exhibit here. Now we're going to take a look at some of the items that we have displayed here on the table. And Valerie, we have a little section here, I guess you could say, that is dedicated to the Cherville High School Ironman. You'll see an Ironman jersey, and you see the Ironman statue there. And the Ironman just may be the most unique mascot that we have in Gaston County, and it comes from the 1934 football team in Cherville. Those boys played like Iron Men, and before then, Cherville was known as the Cherries, obviously, a great name, but it was changed to the Ironmen because of that 1934 football team that went on to capture the school's only football championship, and with that championship became the Cherville Ironmen. And as we move along some of the items here on the table, Cherville High School has also had its share of state championship cheerleading teams in recent years, and you see one of the trophies there. And here's an interesting piece here. Just several years ago, Nixon Gym in Cherville got new flooring. Well, they saved a piece here. This is a piece of the original Nixon Gym flooring from 1956 to 2016. And so that's great to show that. It's a square of basketball history is what we called that.
Imagine all the athletes that crossed that floor.
And you can see we've got a note here about James Worthy. Also, as we move down the table, you see a regional runner-up trophy for the Highland School of Technology in 2017 in women's golf. And another great athlete that has come out of Cherville High School is Trentavious Friday. He was, back in 2014, named the National Athlete of the Year by Gatorade, and a championship track and field star with Trent Friday from Cherville High School. And then you can see other trophies here. We've got a championship trophy from Highland School of Technology 17-18. That was the Southern Piedmont Conference Championship for girls basketball from Highland. And then we also have a Scholar Athlete Team Award that was presented to the 2012-2013 football team from the Highland School of Technology. We continue down the table, and you have a number of items from Bessemer City High School, the Southern District Conference regular season championship trophy from Bessemer City High School in football, 1982, 1983. And then we show a program here from Cherville High School's participation in the state tournament for basketball, and I believe that was in 1999. Is that where that program comes from? And then you see another trophy. These are from Ashbrook High School, showing the state football championship, 4A state football championship from Ashbrook High School in 1974. And we also have the trophy for that. And then Ashbrook, another state football championship, the 3AA championship for 2002. That's the regional championship for Ashbrook High School. And we have some wrestling awards, high school regional tournament champion and regional champions. Those are from 1994, 1995, and then the state baseball 3A championship for Ashbrook High School in 2003. And as we continue down the table, we have the Ashbrook 1987 state championship 400-meter relay team. And those girls that were a part of that state championship team for Ashbrook in 1987. And then you will notice from East Gaston High School, the wrestling individual tournament Class 3A championship in 2002-2003, and also representing East Gaston, we have one of the track jerseys that worn by the athletes there, and also one of the athletic bags there from East Gaston High School. So this table alone, Valerie, there is a lot of sports history just right here on this table as we take a look at all of those items.
And remember too, Todd, this is just a small piece of what the schools have. Their trophy cases are full back in the schools, but they again let us display some of these very notable accomplishments.
It's just a small sampling of some of the great championship teams and students and coaches that we've had over the years. And now, Valerie, we come to the corner, I guess you could say the cornerstone of our exhibit, because for every high school, it begins at the middle school and years ago at the junior high level. So this is our tribute to our junior high and middle school teams that have done great things and prepared the athletes to go on and do great things at the high school level.
Right. Todd, this is actually one of my favorite parts of the display here, because as you see, every middle school or junior high, past junior high, is represented here. And we have everything from cheerleading and baseball jerseys, football jerseys, softball jerseys. So,
and you can tell if that one right there, Valerie, the BCJH, that's of course Bessemer City Junior High School. So that jersey right there is at least 22 years old.
That dates back. That's right.
So you can see the styles of the jerseys there. And along with this area of the exhibit, we have a number of championship trophies and the helmet and the football and even one of the Stanley Blue Devil seat cushions that was on loan here, and a proclamation from the town of Stanley back in I think in 2005, when the Stanley Middle School boys baseball team won the championship. And we've got a number of trophies and other things that are representative of our junior high and our middle school teams. And you see there the plaque representing the Kramerton baseball champions in 2010. And I think that gold football there is from Southwest Middle School when they won the county football championship in 2017. And we've got a picture here that shows the Bessemer City Junior High School Tigers basketball team, the Gaston County and the Division II champions from 1992, 1993. So there are a lot of great items here that are representative of what our athletes have done over the years at the junior high and the middle school level. And Valerie, as we continue our look at our sports history exhibit, you will notice here on the wall we have one of our state swimming championships from 2003, 2, 3, and 4. A three-time Lauren Faso, the three-time state championship in swimming. And then you'll notice here are some pictures of the several of the Forest View golf teams from 2012 and 2013. And as we move over here to the table, I don't know that many schools can brag about this, but each of these trophies here shows the consecutive 5 consecutive championships for Forest View High School in the 3A men's golf. 2012, 13, 14, 15, and 16. 5 consecutive state championships in golf for Forest View High School. And before we go over, we're going to show everybody one more thing related to Forest View golf. But before we move on, we do want to bring attention to some of these outstanding plaques here that show the North Gaston High School 1997, 1998. The Wildcats, they were the Western North Carolina 3A champions and the state runners-up. And Valerie, that looks like that is in wrestling for North Gaston High School. And then we have also from North Gaston High School in 1987, that is the North Gaston 3A state baseball championship team from North Gaston, 1987. And that's great to see. And then we move on and we see another item from North Gaston. This is the cheerleading championship for North Gaston, the state 3A competition champions from 1987, 1988. So North Gaston had some great athletes there in the 1980s winning those championships. And then, Valerie, we have a baseball championship. We mentioned South Pointe earlier. We've got another championship. This is the 2A baseball state championship from 1980, the plaque there. And then we mentioned our cheerleaders earlier from Cherville and the cheerleaders from North Gaston. We have the Varsity Cheerleaders from Hunter Huss High School, 1989-1990 cheerleaders. They were the 1990 state 4A cheerleading champions.
And Todd, it appears that uniforms have changed just a little bit since 1989, 1990. But those girls look sharp.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at the uniforms and the different aspects of the sports to see how things have changed over the years. And I mentioned, Valerie, about the Forest View High School golf championships. Right here on the wall, we have the polo shirt, golf shirt that was worn by Harold Varner. And Harold Varner was probably the championship golfer to come out of Forest View High School, a four-time all-conference in 2004 to 2008. He was the conference player of the year. He was a runner-up for the state championship, a Western regional medalist, and has gone on to play professionally.
There's another name from Gaston County Schools that even today, Harold is on the professional golf tour. And of late his name has been up there on the leaderboard. That's so right. We are rooting for him.
That's right. And you see some pictures there from the 2005-2006 Forest View golf team, as well as the 2006-2007 golf team from Forest View High School. And Valerie, you know, our newest high school in Gaston County is Stewart W. Kramer High School, and we like to say there are champions in the making at Stewart W. Kramer High School, and representing Stewart Kramer in this exhibit, they've only been around for about 5 or 6 years. They opened in 2013. We have one of the football jerseys from the Stewart Kramer Storm, and also a great picture. This picture here shows the very first kickoff home football game in August 2013, right after the school opened for Stewart W. Kramer High School. The first kickoff on August the 22nd, 2013. And Valerie, let's take a look at another part of our exhibit, and we have some of our high school jerseys on display. The first one is from Hunter Huss High School, and Hunter Huss had its best football season ever this past fall, with a perfect undefeated 12-0 season, and then advancing deep into the state playoffs and finishing with a 13-1 record in the playoffs. So that represents, of course, Hunter Huss High School. And you'll notice there also we've got a picture of the state 2A wrestling championship team from Hunter Huss High School.
Everybody loves those Huskies. And as you said, Todd, what a great season they had.
A terrific season in the fall of 2018 for Hunter Huss. And as you move to our second jersey that we have on display, the number 9 at North Gaston, people will remember who wore the number 9 at North Gaston. And of course, we're talking about A.J. Blue, who wore that and then went on to be a great football star in college.
At UNC Chapel Hill, and he is coaching there now.
And so we've got, he is represented here with his number 9 Wildcat jersey from North Gaston High School. And then we also have East Gaston High School. And we've had a lot of athletes come out of East Gaston High School, championship athletes, and probably our most recent was a state championship diver. Last year, won the state championship in diving. Kendall Knight won that championship. So, and we could talk about others from East Gaston High School as well.
And even the pictures on the wall, I think, just show what a wide range of sports are offered in Gaston County Schools for males and females. And again, all these athletes, and we have exceptional student athletes as well, who make All-American academic teams. And we're very, very proud of their contributions.
And as we said earlier, Valerie, if we were to highlight every student, every team, every school with a comprehensive history, we would need a building 10 times the size of what we have here.
That's right, Todd.
And Valerie, the centerpiece, I guess you could say, for our exhibit, we have 3 display cases that are here in the center of the room. And the first one shows some of our yearbooks. And yearbooks are a great source to capture that history of our
Great
sports
memories.
teams.
I think our students look forward to the time when those yearbooks come out. And these have been preserved, as I see there, Todd. These go back quite a few years.
Yeah, you'll see the Astron yearbook there from the late 60s at Hunter Huss High School, and then the one that we have open there on display, that shows some members of the, that's the 1968 yearbook from Hunter Huss, showing the 1967 football team. We also have got a yearbook here from East Gaston High School. This is the 1993 yearbook showing the cheerleaders from East Gaston High School. And Valerie, you'll notice the yearbook that we have on display back there. That is from Bessemer City Junior High School. That shows the 1988-1989 baseball team. And if you'll look on that back row in the center, there's someone who is very familiar. We talked about him earlier. Of course, Kevin Millwood from Bessemer City High School, who went on to play for the Atlanta Braves. Now, Valerie, our second display case, it shows, it's a tribute, I guess you could say, to South Pointe High School, a piece of their history. It shows the original press box microphone from 1972 used in the press box there at Lineberger Stadium at South Pointe High School. And we also have an article that was printed in the newspaper talking about the voices of the Red Raiders at South Pointe. And this article shows Kenny Williams and Joe Messer who used that microphone there. And also a part of this display case, we have a picture that shows the 1971 South Pointe varsity football team. And that was the football team that in 1971 they were the association co-champions. It looks like, Valerie, there was a tie there with that football game. South Pointe against Salisbury, a 14-14 tie. So that led to co-champions in 1971. And then this football here, it depicts the 300th football win for South Pointe High School, and that happened in 2009, September 25th, 2009, against Kings Mountain. So a lot of history in this display case.
300 wins.
300 football wins achieved in 2009, and they've had many more since then, the past 10 years. So a great throwback and highlight of the history at South Pointe High School. And now, Valerie, we have our third display case. It brings attention to a couple of the championships from Cherryville High School, and you will see the trophies there in the back. The 2001 state softball champions and the 2001 state baseball champions. Cherryville High School had 2 teams playing basically at the same time, going all the way to win the 1A state championships in softball and in baseball. And there you'll see a couple of the state championship baseballs signed by the players in 2016. And then here is a basketball. This is from 1985, and it shows the signatures of the players who won the state basketball championship in 1985 for Cherryville High School with a 28-1 record. Under head coach David Watkins. And over the years, Cherryville's known as a baseball town, but has had some great basketball teams as well. And the yearbook that is on display, it shows that varsity softball team from 2001 that went on to win the state championship. And Valerie, what is very interesting about that softball team, won the state championship tournament in 2001. In 2000, that team was second place. In 1999, that team was third place. And in 1998, they were fourth place. So they progressed one step every year, winning that state championship, finally winning that championship in 2001 in softball. Valerie, when you talk about sports history, we've talked about the teams and the players and the coaches. We've talked about the cheerleaders. You also have to talk about the marching band.
Absolutely, Todd. What an important part of a Friday night ball game.
That's right. And you'll see back here we have on display one of the marching band uniforms from Mount Holly High School. This uniform dates back to the late 1960s, and you can see the uniform, and also on display we have one of the majorette hats that was worn from Mount Holly High School back in the late 1960s. And Valerie, for that uniform to be more than 50 years old,
It looks pretty good, doesn't it, Todd?
It is in terrific shape. It looks great. And Valerie, we mentioned earlier that it's sports history and more. So this corner of the exhibit is our more. It shows a number of items that capture a little bit of our history. And mainly we have a number of our old newsletters for Gaston County Schools on display from the 1980s, the 1990s, and into the 2000s that capture, these newsletters capture a small piece of our history related to the school system. And we also have some of our programs, our booklets. We have some of our promotional posters that were used. This was part of our promotional campaign that started back in the 2012-2013 school year. Our promotional We Are Gaston County Schools campaign. We have some of our reports that are on display, our annual reports that have won recognition for quality publications, along with one of our curriculum guides that received a national award. And then you'll notice over there where you're at, Valerie, we've got one of the original promotional posters for the Highland School of Technology, and that dates back to 2000 when Highland opened. We have one of the brochures, and then we also have on display there the proclamation that the city of Gastonia presented to us in honor of our Big 50 anniversary last fall. That proclamation signed by the Mayor Walker Reed from the City Council of Gastonia, recognizing the 50th anniversary of Gaston County Schools. And you look up onto the wall here, we have two graduating class pictures. These pictures are on loan from Cherryville High School, and you will see this picture here shows the Cherryville High School class of 1968. And of course, the consolidation went into effect, the unification of Gaston County Schools went into effect in February of 1968. So this class here began their senior year as part of the Cherryville City Schools and ended their senior year as part of Gaston County Schools. And then in that picture over there where you're at, it shows the class of 1969. That would have been the seniors that began their senior year in the fall of 68, graduated in the spring of 69. The first class at Cherryville High School that was part of the full year, the first full year of Gaston County Schools, the Unified School District, 1968 to 1969. And you will notice in the center there, we have our 50th anniversary logo and information about the 50th anniversary for Gaston County Schools, as well as the 8 sponsors that have been so important to us in helping us sponsor our various 50th anniversary events this year. American and Eford Beam Construction Company, Caramont Health, the City of Gastonia, the Gaston County Education Foundation, GSM Services, Scribble Software, and Wells Fargo, our 8 presenting sponsors for the Big 50 anniversary. So we have a table here as part of our display that shows the more side of our history here at our sports history display and exhibit at the Gaston County Museum. Valerie, we will wrap up our presentation, our look at our exhibit here at the Gaston County Museum when we come back.
And then from this angle, it all makes a star.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore.
Show up
And frustration, a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy, and giving up impossible.
And then we're gonna turn the lights and everybody look up.
I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought.
Finally won. What's your reaction gonna be? Yeah, exactly.
and unconventional methods
Okay, what else?
common.
Little tadpoles, the frogs, the spiders. This is their world.
There's nothing.
And then they die. Go ahead, go, go, go.
I'm a teacher. I make more.
Welcome back. We are at the Gaston County Museum in Dallas. Todd Higgins along with Valerie Yatko, and we have Hannah Buchanan with us. She is the curator here at the Gaston County Museum in Dallas. And Hannah, you have been instrumental in helping us to make this exhibit possible. What have you heard from people as they have come through taking a look at our sports exhibit?
Oh, people have loved it. Yeah, so the Gaston County School System, obviously, it's a central part to the county here. And we here at the museum, it's our mission to interpret the history of the county. And so being able to have this focused exhibit on the school system, particularly on the sports history of the county, it's been such a treat. Everyone who's come to see it has just loved it, especially some of the Sleepy Floyd items that you guys have put out in the exhibit, and just learning more about who has come out of our county and the sports history of our school system. People have loved it.
Well, it's great to hear that people have given you some positive feedback and good comments about the exhibit. We had a lot of work that went into the exhibit, and we certainly appreciate the museum's partnership in providing this wonderful space for our exhibit. And Valerie, for all the hard work you did in helping to coordinate this exhibit, it's been it's a lot of work on your part and my part and our part and your part. A lot of work that went into the exhibit, but it's an excellent exhibit. And we really appreciate everything the Gaston County Museum did to help support this and to bring our sports history to life here at the museum.
Oh, well, we've appreciated all the hard work you guys have put in. You guys, put everything up and allowing us to exhibit your objects. It's been wonderful.
It's been a great exhibit. We are so appreciative to the Gaston County Museum here in Dallas for giving us this space. It's been a wonderful opportunity for us to highlight the sports history of Gaston County Schools over the past 50 years. Valerie Yatko, thank you so much. Hannah, thank you so much for everything that you have done. Todd Higgins with you. Thanks for watching. We hope to see you soon.